Oh, man. Whew.
Yeah.
Whew. Tough. Let's talk it out, though. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Losers Lounge. Presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We're in the Toyota Losers Lounge, driven by your friendly Toyota stores. The official vehicle, DNVR. Nuggets, heartbreaker, man. Such a roller coaster of a game. Unlike the last one.
Yes.
Where everything was terrible.
Yep.
This one was only a terrible sandwich.
That's true.
The middle part of it.
Delicious.
I never eat the bread when I'm having, like a burger or
Sure.
So usually I get rid of that part. The middle part was pretty tasty, including a Jokic masterclass, an all-timer. Oh, the team let Jokic down tonight. We're going to break it all down. To help me out, I got D-Line Co.
That's right, guys. I'm not sitting in my normal spot. The vibes are off. Nothing's right. Up is down. Left is right. And the Nuggets suck. Do they suck? Maybe they're all right. I don't know.
They did suck for a while, but they didn't suck for the whole game, which is like an improvement.
It is true. We're back, baby.
We're going to talk a lot about that. And then over here, Superstar Dev.
You know what they say, right? Like,
What do they say?
The third time is the charm.
Okay.
They lost the first two, and now is when the season truly begins.
I mean, if you were charting a path, you would say there's linear growth here. I mean, the two dots that are maybe going upwards. We're going to talk about all of that and more. We're going to talk about whether we're encouraged, discouraged, break down the players. Who are we encouraged by, discouraged? And, of course, rave about the one true king, Nikola Jokic, who was let down tonight, sadly, by quite a few people. We're going to break all that down. But first, fast breakdown. Jokic received his MVP. This was such a cool moment. So the other night, if you're not from Colorado, Jokic is the MVP of the NBA. Nathan McKinnon's the MVP of the NHL. And on the Avs opener, Jokic awarded it to Nathan McKinnon, handed him the trophy. That was reciprocated today. It's actually super cool. We can't let the cool things just fly under the radar. Denver has 2 MVPs since when, Kale? First time since when?
84, and it was Gretzky Magic.
Gretzky and Magic in 1984. So that happened to start the game. It was a sloppy start, a lot of turnovers, a lot of just ugly play from both teams. Murray played a longer stint tonight than usual. Usually 6 minutes, he goes to the bench. Nope, he just stayed connected to Jokic, so new rotation. Michael Porter was the first one out. Everyone looked winded in that first half. Denver was okay for a moment there, but I thought guys looked really tired, lethargic, not into it. And to end the first quarter, the Clippers started doing exactly what the Thunder did at the end of the first quarter last game. It repeated itself. 19-27, the Clippers. And in the second quarter, oh my God, things went bad for the Nuggets. They looked exactly as bad as they had in the previous game, and you thought, what is going on? They couldn't score. They fell down by 19 points at one point in the second quarter, called a timeout halfway through it, and I'm telling you guys, it felt like the season was over before it ever started. But out of that timeout, the Nuggets hit back-to-back three-pointers, and more importantly, they just showed for the first time all season, I felt like, that they cared, that they looked like absolute crap out there. Closed the half very strong. Or were they just making some shots? They looked motivated. 48-42 Clippers. In the third quarter, the Nuggets stormed back and took the lead, showing tons of life. Christian Braun, a 3, cut it to 2 points. Christian Braun playing great, had an incredible block on James Harden. They called a foul, but Michael Malone had his back. Review that thing. They called it properly as a block. Russ he immediately got 2 steals, got a block shot as well. He was showing some life. And the Nuggets took a lead, 72-71, going into the fourth quarter. As Eric pointed out on the live show, it was the first time the Nuggets led at the end of a quarter.
Yeah, but that was the only time.
It was the only time, unfortunately. You start the fourth quarter, things go back and forth a little bit. Jokic and AG check back in. Immediate lob to AG. You were calling for it on the watch-along. Zubac was going crazy, getting those little things. He was guarding AG, Batum was guarding Jokic, but Jokic caught fire. He was on fire all game, but he really caught fire in the fourth quarter from 3. Murray hit a pair of big jumpers. And then Michael Porter, who had a weird night tonight. Here are the last plays in the clutch. Denver, where they're great in the clutch. Michael Porter wasn't trusting his shot, passed up a couple weird ones. And then on a play where Jokic had him wide open in the corner, He cut for some reason. It could have had a wide open like corner three. He cut for some reason, turnover. Tie 2 minutes to go in the game. Norman Powell was on fire, just hitting tie. I thought Denver's defense was actually pretty decent in the clutch, but Norman Powell's shot making was better. And then at the very end of the game, Harden drew one of his classic fouls. The Nuggets challenged it. You're never going to win it. I thought AG's arm was tucked like this. Harden just reaches in and hooks it and pulls it away from his body. He gets the call, and that was the game. That was the one to put them up. You come down, Jokic gets fouled, and Jokic is clutch everywhere except for at the foul line. He goes 1 of 2. Harden goes 2 of 2 in response, so they're down 3. And at the last play, it's kind of a desperation play. They get the ball to Jokic at the top of the key. Derek Jones jumps on a pump fake, and rather than just shoot it, Jokic kind of tried to lean into him for it. I didn't love that decision. It was maybe the only thing I didn't love about Jokic's game tonight was that one play, but you're down 3 at the end. You're kind of in Hail Mary territory, and the Hail Mary came up snake eyes. That's the rundown. Let's get to Red Hawk Roofing big takeaways. Dev, why don't you get us started?
My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway is the Nuggets just look uncharacteristically not like themselves. This looks like a team that truly does not have the cohesion and like just being on the right page. And when you're starting out with not being on the right page, and then your bench unit also is struggling because they are not on the same page. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. The second unit, like the true second unit, Julian Strawther was the only one to make a field goal out of this one.
Only one.
The only person, 3 of 5 from the field. Everyone else went 0 for.
0 for
You're just not
13.
going to be able to score like that, and you're too reliant on the stagger, no matter who it is. So yeah, that's the big takeaway. That bench unit has to have a score or just try to get some type of offense generated.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize the 0 for, man. That's crazy. Strawther was 3 of 5, but you're right. 0 of 8 from Westbrook, 0 of 3 from Peyton Watson, 0 of 2 from Dario Saric. That's wild. You really only got 1 point and 2 points. 2 out of Westbrook, 1 out of Peyton, so that's tough. What about you, D-Line?
My big takeaway.
Red Hawk Roofing.
My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway. This is a strange game, man. This is a strange game. I won't talk about the Nuggets trajectory because we're saving that for next next break. I'm with Dev, though. Like, the starters found something. That something, of course, is just Nikola Jokic.
They found it, though.
They did find it. Michael Porter Jr. has not shown up. He's not reported to training camp yet. He's been abysmal, like just an absolute nightmare out there. It is crazy to watch him be so ineffective, and not only ineffective, but just a liability in a lot of different ways. It's not something that I expected. But I mean, the bench, the bench is, as Dev points out, like this is something that we were looking to in the offseason as a real place for improvement for the Denver Nuggets, and why this season is going to be different than last. And obviously, nothing is set. Like it's not cooked. It's not over. But to this point, man, it has been rough. Dario Saric has been rough. Russell Westbrook on the offensive end has been rough. Everybody. It's just Peyton Watson. My God. They're just really unsettled. They really need to find something there.
Yeah, it's Michael Porter might be the final proof, and not that we needed it, the final proof that the preseason is meaningless. Because who's the one starter that I thought looked good throughout preseason? Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
He looks the worst probably now through 2 games, so it's like, what really matters? It's a good takeaway. Mine, the bench is a problem. I will say, I do think the Nuggets inch towards a better rotation here, and the bench to me, I still think it can be good.
I do too.
I think Michael Malone found some things that were probably obvious coming into it about how to stagger guys. I like that he kept Jamal more connected to Jokic than typical. I like that. I think it led to some positive things. But at the end of the day, can Westbrook and Saric play together? And especially if you're going to be playing Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, Christian Braun, somewhere around there, I just don't know. And when you look at this and you go to that bench and you go Westbrook minus 13, Strawther minus 12, Dario Saric minus 12. Yes, I think everyone's going to turn around and point fingers, right? It's like really easy to make Russ the scapegoat because like he's playing pretty terribly. Although in the second half he played inspired at least, and the Nuggets needed that. But for the most part, not very effective. But I look at that and I go, the pieces right now don't look to fit, and I don't know that it's necessarily a thing I think is about to fit, like the Westbrook-Saric dynamic. And, that's a real concern to me because the starters, once again, looked pretty good, won their minutes, all were in the positive. There's positive signs hidden behind a pile of crap right now at the Nuggets, and the bench is unfortunately that pile.
Yeah, I mean, with Westbrook, I think just adding a player like Westbrook, there is going to be some filling out process. So, like, him trying to learn. Like, he truly has never played on an offense that is like this. Like, if you even go back to, like, how he's always played, it's been always ISO-centric because they've had star players around him, and the guards, like, really get it done. So, I always thought that it was going to be Westbrook having to figure it out and see what it is that he's – and we're seeing a lot of that. Even him, like, having to shoot is still a concern, but, like, he's really forced in a situation where he has to. It's the Saric component that really I'm like – they're not fitting around him. They're not putting the ball in his hands where they're playing away from his strengths in the way that he now is like, I don't know what to do out here. And you're starting to see that, like, where he doesn't make assists, he doesn't try to score, he doesn't even look at the rim. I haven't seen many Saric opportunities or face-ups where he gets to go in ISO. It's just a lot of screens the entire time that he's out there, and that's kind of like the DeAndre Jordan type of role. That's not who Saric is. So I do think there's a filling out process, and they're going to have to explore a bit more, as well as they seem to just stagger with two different people. So I really think it's just no continuity. They don't know what to do, and Saric is like lost right now.
It really is tough, man. And like Peyton Watson's lost too. So they've got three guys right now: Westbrook, Peyton Watson, and Dario Saric, who are all lost. I thought Julian Strawther had some moments and did some stuff today, and we've seen him play good in other configurations. But when you have to find a lineup of three guys right now that all seem lost and don't seem like they fit together, it's tough. And maybe Denver inch closer, but those three, man, I'm worried.
The wild thing is that the bench actually played a pretty good game. Like, their defensive prowess was impressive. Like, they generated a lot of steals. There was a moment,
score,
but that's the problem. Is that, like, it's just they only had it going on one side. If it feels not close to clicking on the other side either. It's not like there are guys who are just missing shots. Like Dev says, they don't know what they're doing together. They really don't fit at all.
And if you wanted to talk yourself into the lineup conceptually, you would say they're going to get stops and get out in transition.
Exactly.
9 total points from the team on fast break points tonight. Like, they're not getting whatever defense they're providing. It's not transitioning to half court offense, which we'd expect, but it's not transitioning to half court or transition offense.
But it is something that you feel like, all right, at least there's like something there. Like, generally speaking, the defense is usually where teams fall apart, especially on the bench. Like, you usually just have a bunch of guys that are trying to get theirs, looking for shots. You don't usually have like a defensively stout bench unit. And then I wouldn't say the Nuggets necessarily have one, but they also don't not have one. They just, man, only Strawther scored. That is unbelievable. Like,
only hit a field goal. There was 3 combined points from the foul line.
Jeebus.
By the way, 13 steals tonight for the Nuggets. 13 was a season high last year in steals. So, like, they can generate. I mean, what's one thing Russ does? Michael Malone said it in the preseason. He's a defensive playmaker.
He is.
Peyton Watson gets blocks. He can be a defensive playmaker. CB has been disrupting and deflecting and things. They have guys that can make plays like that and can get the stops. But unfortunately, I think Michael Malone figured out the starters. He didn't have to figure out. The rotation around Jokic and Murray, I think he figured out tonight. But the bench now, I honestly think there's one last piece of this that to me feels like it's a little obvious, but it's going to be painful.
What is the obvious piece? You can't throw it out.
Well, I'm saying I don't think you can play that at 3 non-shooters. And Saric ideally is like, can he space the floor? Can he do this? One, that defense is supposed to be versatile and switchy. He is slower than Jokic.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I would rather him on an island than Jokic on an island. So he makes it impossible to do that. But he's also not like stretching the floor for you on offense. So to me, and it's not even his fault, in another configuration, he might be the guy. It's not like Westbrook. I'm caping for Westbrook and because he's playing so great. But if he's going to be your guy, I think it's easier to remove him and to try to throw in a Vlatko, throw in even a DeAndre that's at least rim pressure, but throw in a Zeke, throw in a Vlatko, throw in something else that is going to allow you to, at least in theory, have an open half court.
For sure. And do you think that they tinker with that? Like, they've already shown some type of, like, we're going to change things up every now and then. It looks like maybe even this game they did just a tad bit. They had Jamal and Westbrook together. And it wasn't even just like a straight stagger because they took Jamal out of that stagger, but it was like, okay, we're going to try to go with this type of lineup. But like with Sarge, I really do think that you have to run an offense through him or like get him some touches where everything's generating. You can't do that if you have a Jamal and a Jokic in at the same time. You can't do that with the spacing if you have 3 non-shooters around him with Westbrook. So I do think that at times they are going to have to go without Saric and Westbrook, but that is the bench unit.
Dude,
so now you're going deeper into a configuration of just trying to find it just to see if that works.
They really do have to bring him out like they would Jokic and get a little two-man game going with he and Westbrook, and then but bigger than that. Like,
but can you do that with Peyton Watson on the floor spacing and Aaron Gordon on the floor?
We can do that with Strawther.
Yeah, but that's one guy. Like that's what I'm saying.
It's possible. I mean, but they need to do something. Like I think the larger point is that you can't have Saric in there just sort of like trying to figure it out at, just freelance. Like I think you need to be more intentional with him if you're going to stick with him in the game. Like otherwise, I mean, I wouldn't be the slightest bit surprised if we see Zeke next game.
You might just have to. I mean, and some of this is matchup dependent. Like there was no big for Sarge to match up with, or like it was a fast pace, bring him out game. But when I talk about the spacing, Denver last season averaged 53.5 points in the paint. We know Yoke's a monster in the paint. You can open it up. They had 22 points in the paint tonight. 22. After having a rough go last night, like the paint's no longer open. That is a fortress around the paint, unfortunately, even with Jokic out there, which is why he extended himself to 3. And unfortunately, it still didn't work. Well, we didn't even talk about the monster that was Nikola Jokic. So let's take a break, because that was like why you have to talk about why you lost. We're going to talk about Jokic on the other end, which is why they almost won. And I think it was an important adjustment he made to his game halfway through the first quarter that
definitely
I want to talk about.
All right, guys. Guess who's on read today? It's me, D-Line. All right. Hey, I appreciate both Wind and Vote for giving me this one. Blue Chew.
Let's go.
Blue Chew, baby. They say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew helps boost your confidence in the bedroom so you can stay hard and perform at your very best. That's right, guys. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost in a chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay the $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast, this Losers Lounge. Thanks, Blue Chew.
We also want to tell you about Game Time. My wife was thinking about going to the game today, taking the girls, daytime game, so you can take them down. Tickets maybe a little price, but she was keeping her eye on that. She might have actually gone. I don't even know. Maybe she saw the price drop. She was looking at Game Time, waiting to see if those prices were going to drop. I bet they drop by the next time the Nuggets are back in town. So you can hop on the Game Time app. It's actually really nice. You have that all-in pricing feature, so you're never lost. Look at that on the screen, right in that top left. It's a button, literally on the top screen. All-in pricing, and that way you don't have any hidden fees when you get to checkout that surprises you. Taxes or whatever else, some weird service fee. Nope, all-in pricing. You know exactly what the final number is going to be when you go out. And they have that great interface that lets you see the entire stadium, and you can zoom in and say, okay, I want them in this section, and then you look at the prices around there. They also have last-minute prices, flash deals, zone deals, and all kinds of good stuff there to help you make it easy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account and redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time!
Well, it's post game time at the moment.
Losers Lounge time.
Game time. Let's give some love to Jokic, guys. In fact,
oh my God.
In fact, why don't we give him some love in our segment? The Live Extraordinary Player of the Game, presented by UC Health. Some nights it's easy. Really, almost every night it's easy.
It's always easy.
Almost always easy.
We have to actually do a lot of mental gymnastics to not just give it to him every single night.
And just as a nice little, anytime I post anything about Jokic, people, a lot of fans will hop in and say, "You don't even deserve Jokic." Guys, we know.
Yes, we do.
We know.
Yes, we do.
If not us, then who?
If
Yeah,
they-
no,
well, that
right?
is
Like,
true.
who
If not us.
who in your mind deserves Jokic?
We flew all the way to Serbia. We love the dude so
Yeah, who
much.
deserves Jokic in your
Tonight,
mind?
41 points, 7 of 11 from the three-point line.
Wild.
He did not shoot early on. And there was a little, I saw mumblings on the timeline. Oh, Jokic not going to shoot tonight. He's not going to shoot tonight. Jokic was reading the court, seeing what was happening, but there was a timeout early on where he comes out of it and was like, clearly, I have to go into score mode. And I think there's something to that, Dev. I think that this season, with a lack of shooting, a lack of creation, a lack of Murray playing like an all-star, all that stuff, this might be the year Jokic has to average 28, 29, 30 points a game. And I think he had a moment where he was like, all right, let me do this and carry as much as I can. It was almost enough.
I was super happy to see him take 26 shots in a game.
Yeah.
I think that is him. That's what he should be doing, is taking those type of shots and
Tough
putting
ones.
it all on his back. Like that felt great to see him say, hey, you know what? It's not working for you guys. It's going to work for me. I'm going to be ultra aggressive. I'm going to get to my spots, and I'm going to make them pay. He created a lot of mismatches, but he also went at Zubac. Like, he just was like, hey, I'm going at whoever is down there. Just
Tough
feed me.
defender.
And they made sure to get it to him from different angles and different spots where he didn't have the assist. He didn't try to find, ways to open up the offense. He's like, give me the ball and I'm going to score. And like you just said, I do think that that's something that he's going to have to lean into this year, and I think he is going to lean into. Is like, while y'all figure that out, I'm going to score and I'm going to, operate on this, type of setting. 41 points. He went 7 of 12 from the three-point line, which is a career high for him in threes made in a single game. And the best part about it is the three-pointers are back. They're back. If he can shoot the three ball like that, there's literally nothing that you can do besides hope that Michael Porter Jr. misses every single shot.
Hope that he's playing with Michael Porter Jr. and Peyton
Michael
Watson.
Porter Jr. 0 for 6, Jokic 7 of 12. What is going on?
It's a
7
weird
of 11, 7 of
reality
12.
there. But if Jokic is knocking down the three ball like that, really, there's going to be a lot of monster scoring nights, and that was step one. He's back in the MVP conversation.
He's in the conversation, baby. No, this season, well, listen, like Jokic single-handedly revitalized the Denver Nuggets. He brought them back from dead. It is sad how much this team relies on what Nikola Jokic is, what he provides, what he is able to do. But it's the reality. It's the absolute reality. The Nuggets are going to go as Nikola Jokic goes. And as soon as he got engaged in this game, as soon as he decided to really turn it up, because let's be honest, he wasn't great last game, and he didn't start off this game that great either. And as soon as it clicked in for Jokic, the Nuggets themselves, like a switch of sorts flipped. And, it sucks.
Yeah.
But it's our reality. Like we are the Denver Jokic's. And if Jokic is here to do it, like other guys then step up and follow. Like Jamal Murray was not having a good game. In the end, I think he had a decent game at least, if not a borderline good game, but it didn't start until Jokic started. And anybody else that was, except for maybe Christian Braun, everybody else is just reliant on Jokic to turn the car on, and then they'll go for the ride. But they can't do it without him. If I was him, it would feel unbelievably frustrating. But at the same
He's
point in
wearing
time,
it, man.
Heavy
You can tell.
wears the crown, man. Like he's just the best player in the world, and that's what it is.
He really is, but the scoring part of this, him going after it, and I've always said, for me, I honestly think three-point shooting for Jokic is largely mental, because he knows that typically he shouldn't be taking too many threes. He's too dominant everywhere else, and when he's dominant inside, he's setting the table. Well, the nature of Denver's spacing this year, unfortunately, is that he's not going to have a choice. And I think that was the thing that clicked in him. One, I got to be a scorer. And two, I'm going to have to shoot threes, man.
Yep.
They're not guarding me. And even if they are guarding me, they're sending guys over to double me in the paint and everything else. And he said, all right, this is what I got to do this year. And at least tonight, he was making them at a high rate and taking them with no hesitation. And it is encouraging. Are the threes back? I don't know. But at least he shot them tonight and made him tonight like a guy that knew that was his new job.
Yeah, and after last game, he said that they're not a good shooting team, which is, facts. But also, he was like, okay, well, I'm going to take shots. Yeah. He didn't put himself as a person. He said he was average, average. Everyone else is average, and everyone else, they can make shots. Michael Porter Jr. didn't make shots. Jamal Murray didn't, continue to make shots. Jokic's like, okay, I'm going to make the shots. I'm going to step out because they are stacking the paint and, making it tough for me down there, or like not being able to see. And really, I think that he understands that if he is able to make those shots, it does open up the offense. It does create spacing because now they're not able to pack the paint. So it's like one of those things that you do early so that it opens up late. So like him knocking down 3-pointers at this rate that's a positive.
Next guy I want to talk about, though, is Jamal Murray, who was 7 of 14. He did get 22 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. He was a +6, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. He had a good game.
Yeah, he did.
He had a good game. Not a great one. And he, too, of all people,
could have had a great game.
I honestly think this team takes their emotional cue from him. And I thought emotionally in the first quarter, I was like, I'm so frustrated with him. But like all the fellas, they kind of rallied around the rest of the game. But the clutch is where he really shines. And he had a couple buckets early clutch.
Yep.
But late clutch, when it really mattered, man, he had Jokic, who had just made all those threes in a row. He turns the corner. He sees Zubac's zoning up. And he just either misread it or tried to be a hero in that moment and took a horrible shot that got blocked right at the rim. And that was the one play to me where I was like, oh, God. Did it just flip? Like, Denver had it until that moment. And it just felt like then the Clippers, the momentum went in their direction. That was a tough play.
It was tough. It's the tough thing is that they left themselves such a narrow margin of error. The thing that sucks is that they had the lead, and Norman Powell just went insane. He couldn't miss any shots. Like, he made a double clutch 3 that he had no business making. I've never seen a single player in the NBA make a double clutch 3 in my life. Norman Powell went insane, but you're right. Like, in the biggest moments when you expect Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic to be the peanut butter and jelly, the 2-man game that you rely on so much, Jamal faltered a little bit, and again, they left themselves such a narrow margin of error that was enough to flip the entire game. But it's such an early portion of the year. It shouldn't need to be said. It's the second game. To me, it's like Jamal Murray. To me, he looked like he woke up. I'm actually encouraged by Jamal's game today rather than...
Was he the primary defender of Norman Powell?
Well, they kept switching him out on him.
Norman Powell just making insane shots.
But I'm just asking a question.
I don't think
if
the entire time...
then this was a horrible game because Norman Powell... I'm calling him Normal Powell. There was nothing normal about what he did.
Abnormal
Powell went insane in this game. And he just kept scoring every single time and doing whatever he wanted to. Even if you're calling those tough shots, he did. And that was part of the Clippers. If James Harden is going to get bottled, then it's going to be on Normal Powell because we have a better matchup. It was great to see Jamal Murray make shots because that's something that we haven't seen in a while and that we wanted to get back to. He looked like he was playing with, a little bit more bounce. He's like trying to break guys down off the dribble. He created space on step backs and moves. But also, it was the IQ. You just talked about how Jamal down the stretch. That's where he's really good. That's where he excels. Is we know that pick and roll, that 2-man game of him and Jokic. They seem to always know where each other's going to be. Well, Jokic already hit 7 3-pointers in the game. There was a 4-on-5 where Jamal takes a horrible shot. First off, he had a turnover on a 4-on-5. That was not good. But also, he had Jokic on a wide-open shot after just knocking down some threes with the game on the line, and he went and missed the layup. It was a rough miss.
Yeah, he got blocked.
You just can't do that. You just can't make that type of decision, especially when you have the best player in basketball on your team in a hot game that has it all going on. Mm-hmm. So I hated that decision-making there. I just think that it should have went to Jokic.
And on Norman Powell, was in rhythm. And I think you got to disrupt the rhythm. Like, I thought there was a couple even AG would get switched out onto him. The deep 3 where AG's kind of sitting like, we'll give you that one. No, he's on fire. Don't give him anything. Don't shadow him and contest. Like, get into his space. Try to disrupt him. Bring the fight to him, not just try to shadow him along. When a guy has it going like that, it's the difference between being a guy that's just shadowing a guy or a guy that's disrupting, and the Nuggets needed that, and I agree. I think Jamal finally felt a rhythm offensively and was probably in his head thinking, like, all right, 2-man game to close out or what have you, but the truth was tonight called for defense. Get a couple stops, just slow Norman Powell down, and they're probably not going to outscore you down the clutch.
Yeah. I mean, the tough thing is they did disrupt his rhythm, but it didn't matter. I've never seen this guy make buckets like that. But what
I didn't think that was. What I'm saying is there's a disruptive rhythm where it's like Russ tonight when he was in the game in that second half was disrupting rhythm. Sometimes he flew out of control, this or that, but he was going for the ball. Every time you put it on the ground, I'm trying to grab the ball.
Sure.
I'm saying playing defense where it's like we're trying to keep him in front of us or whatever. And I think sometimes you have to attack defensively when on a guy like that. I mean, here's the other thing, man. Late in the game, I think it was one of the ones I'm talking about. They swing the ball at the top of the key to Amir Coffey, and Aaron Gordon slides over to not let him take that shot. Amir Coffey didn't want to take a shot with the game on the line. He hadn't shot, since the first half. And I was sitting there thinking, Norman Powell wants the ball, and they swing it to him, and that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, man. Like, disrupt. And they really had Harden and him and Zubac rolling to the rim. Don't let that beat you. Let them force the other stuff. One quick thing, real quick. Let's talk about Michael Porter. Actually, let's just give a shout out to Christian Braun because let's end on a little bit of a high note. Okay. 2 games in a row, dude, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks. We always say just do stuff. Filled up the box. This is 2 games in a row. Every stat across the board. He was great. 4 of 6. He knocked down a 3-pointer. Shout out Christian Braun, man. He's looked really good with the starters. Really good.
And the thing that you're not going to see on just like a regular box score, which most people go off of, is like the analytical side of it. He defended Harden well. Yeah. Where he's forcing the pass.
Multiple disruptions. Block.
He had a couple of blocks on him. He's making it very difficult. He's defending without fouling on Harden a lot of times. That's a tough guard.
Really hard.
Where you could he's going to bait you into a lot of fouls. And he's playing honest defense, and he's not reaching and doing those type of things. He's slowing down other guys, even though it's coming in different ways. That's the backside help. That's other people. If they would have took Jamal off of Norman Powell and put Christian Braun, he would have slowed him down. They would have just went a different way. So he is finding those type of ways. But offensively, I like what I'm seeing in this game. I feel like you already knocked down a 3-pointer. He should have shot more threes. He should have been a little bit more aggressive, but I understand. Like Jokic had it going on. I'm not going to be the one that tries to take all the shots. So it was kind of KCP-ish of like, hey, even though I'm finally having a good game, offensively, I'm not going to be the main character because we have a main character. We have a guy that's getting it going. So Christian Braun did all the positive things, the right things, and like stood out in the right ways, not the bad ways.
He's averaging 13.5 points per game. Right? I know it's only 2 games, but he's had 11 and 16. That's like pretty good scoring for what we expected.
It's incredible, man. And we pointed it out during the watch along. Christian Braun is the one guy that looks like he came into the season in
definitely is
way better shape than last year, or even in good shape. Like, there's everybody else, as you pointed out, like after the first quarter was just sucking wind, and you're like, "What is happening? This is the second game. This is the second goddamn game of the year. You just came out of training camp. Like, what are you fools doing?" Christian Braun looks yoked. He looks fit. He looks fast. He looks decisive. Yeah. And it's crazy because, again, all of our offseason chatter was like, oh, man, the starters are in trouble. We really have to worry about Christian Braun coming in. Like, how is he going to disrupt what they're doing? And he's like the only one that's been reliable outside of course, Nikola Jokic, which is a great omen, frankly. Yeah.
Well, Jokic, real quick, we got to go to break. Jokic was our Live Extraordinary Player of the Game presented by UC Health. If you want to join UC Health's Ready, Set, Co challenge, click the link in the show notes or go to uchealth.org/Ready, Set, Co. Let's go to break. On the other side, Michael Porter Jr., Peyton Watson. I want to get to some of the guys that I have some real questions about.
And while we're talking about UC Health, Ready, Set, Co. We're excited to partner up with our friends at UC Health. Coach Prime, my favorite, wants you to help you and other Coloradans be your healthiest selves. As the Chief Motivational Officer of UC Health's Ready, Set, Co challenge, the goal of the challenge is to get Colorado back to its rightful place as the healthiest state. One of the personas in this challenge is named Sleep Prime. I feel like I manifest Sleep Prime pretty well, actually. This is where he and I are on the same step. Sleep Prime says when he gets 8 hours of sleep, he's so ready. Set, Co. It's dreamy. Sleep is a key part of our overall health, and we need to prioritize getting 8 quality hours a night. A lot of things happen while you sleep, from your physical well-being to neurological benefits. It's one of the main ways to get and keep yourself healthy. Work, family, social life. For me, putting down the phone when I go to bed has helped a lot. Like, I mean, listen, no one scrolls TikTok like I do. It's really where It's something I used to make fun of others for, and now it's something that's been a defining feature of who I am. I'm a TikTok scroller, but I've learned if I put my phone down at night and focus on getting those 8 precious hours, I wake up in a much better mental state. There's all kinds of studies between the light from the screen and the engagement with the brain. It doesn't let you slide into dreamland as easily as you could. So that's been a big help for me. So if you want to join UC Health's Ready, Set, Co challenge, click the link in the show notes or go to www.uchealth.org/ready-set-co.
Also want to tell you guys about Red Hawk Roofing. You know whose fault it wasn't today? It was not Red Hawk Roofing's. They have quality materials, decades of experience. I want to tell a quick story real quick.
Please.
This is a true story. My mother-in-law, poor mother-in-law, gets a call the other day.
This
someone
sounds like
saying,
a joke.
No, I'm taking it serious.
No.
Oh, you need a new roof. They tell her, you need a new roof. Praying, on oh, really? I didn't even know I need one. Oh, yeah, we'll send someone out and we'll tell you how much you need. $50,000 they told her for this roof.
She didn't just shell out?
She was going to. She's like, I have a roof. They told me it's going to collapse and everything else. So she calls, obviously, my wife, her daughter, and goes out there. These people, then as soon as my wife was like, stop calling her or whatever, they're like, we'll take $10,000 off. $10,000? $10,000 off? First of all, terrible price. Also, why did you offer something that you could take $10,000
That's a
off?
immediate discount. That's a big discount.
And I was thinking, man, roofing is a dirty business. I'm not even kidding here. There's so many predatory people out there. But I know my guy B-Rad at Red Hawk Roofing, and I mean this sincerely. Great guy, great group of guys, hard workers, salt of the earth type people, and they know what they're doing there. Hell season is here, so don't wait to take care of any issues before the big storms arrive. You don't want to get that snowfall on your roof, and all of a sudden you discover it. So if you have an issue, you need to get a roof replaced, call them today. They're phenomenal. Supporting your local team means also supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you are looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com or call 720-771-8921 and tell them DNVR sent you. All right, Michael Porter Jr., guys. Segment 3. Later in the show, Vogt will be joining us from the arena, by the way. Michael Porter reminded me. I'm not saying there's a connection there.
What's the connection there?
But Michael Porter Jr. tonight, 4 of 13, 0 of 6, and I kid you not, stopped shooting the basketball. I never thought I would see the day when Michael Porter got gun shy, but he did. And in a weird way, Murray took the shot he shouldn't have. Mike had a couple, and he's like, no, Yoke's got to go, and just give it back to him. But I'm worried, man. 9 points, and he just needed one to fall for the Nuggets to win tonight. He didn't have it in him.
He just doesn't look like himself. And it's not even like a physical limitation or anything like that, because I think right now his body looks great. Like everyone talks about like the physicality of like him being like more yoked and like that changing to him. I can't wait for that to adjust because he does look stronger. He looks nimble. He looks good. But he is not making any type of shots, and you can see him down on himself about it. It's not even a confidence type of thing. It's like, hey, I really can't make a shot right now. I'm trying to find different ways. He was aggressive early on, and then he started turning down shots for other guys. Some of them were good passes where, like, Jokic knocked down shots. But it's like, hey, Michael Porter Jr., this is what you do. You are the shooter on this team, and if you're not knocking down those type of shots, that's when teams are really going to stack the paint. That's when the other things, are happening. So I hated the decision making. I hated the processing with him, and it's just because the shots are not falling. We just want to see one fall in. I think that's when it finally like opens up the floodgates because we know that he can get going when it first starts.
Yeah, man, I don't even think he looked good in any other facet. I think he looked tentative. I think he looked confused. I think he looked slow. Like, I thought he looked, when he would try to put the ball on the ground, it was a nightmare. Like, Mike just had an absolute train wreck of a game today. And it's one that was like so bad that you kind of have to just flush it, I think, and just chalk it up to like he's just not having a good day. But it's 2 not great days of 2 in a row here. Like, am I nervous? Like a little. Like, I'm a little nervous. Like, Mike doesn't look like himself at all. Is it the braids? It could be the braids. I don't know.
You're not a fan of the braids.
I'm not a fan of the braids.
I'll give you guys a crazy take here, something that sounds crazy. And Malone moved towards it a little bit today with moving him more to the bench role. I actually think it's okay for him to be there because you need the spacing. Strawther, unlike Mike, I just think reads the court better. I'm not saying he's a better player, is going to be closing this or that. They won a title with Mike. Mike did big-time title-winning things during that run. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think it just makes sense to stagger those guys a little bit more because Julian, I do think, is going to, like, just read the court in a way that allows Jokic to do some of the stuff that makes him Jokic. Not just shooting threes, like getting the ball moving and different stuff in a way that Mike right now is kind of in his head. You send him to that bench unit. You say, Mike, last game, Julian Strawther had 8 points and nobody else had a field goal. Can't be worse. You got to go out there and let it fly because I don't know what our other options are. And maybe it's like that can help him get back into rhythm or what have you. But tonight, it might be the first time I've ever seen Michael Porter afraid to shoot. Honestly, of all the things you could say about him, afraid to shoot's not one.
But it came down after a lot of shots did not fall for him.
Not that many.
I mean, he still got 13 field goal attempts up, and that was like something that he didn't do in the past. Because even like some of those, I know it's 0 for 6 from 3, but he did like some of those up and under shots that's like contested or like far twos, deep twos. So like he did do that, but then later when he started missing it, I think that's when he got in his own head of like, yeah, now Jokic has it going on. So I am going to make that extra pass because I can't make shots. So I do think that, really, I think it was like a overthinking type of shots because we know what happens when he knocks down a shot early, 1 or 2 shots early. That's when it becomes like easier for him. I think that he just has to stop overthinking out there.
Dude, there was the biggest record scratch moment of the night for me was Michael Porter Jr. wide open, opts to send it to Aaron Gordon in the corner to shoot the three.
God. This is like, 2 times in a row.
What are you doing? Like
Aaron Gordon passed up a dunk to get CB a corner 3, and Mike
that's what you do. That's what you do. You are Michael Porter Jr. You don't give the ball to Aaron Gordon to shoot a 3 instead of you. That was the wildest thing.
Which one was worse, the AG passed up dunk one or the Mike passed up 3
man.
one?
I don't know, man. Maybe the AG.
The AG one might have been worse because a dunk is like a guarantee.
But it's actually this one is worse because this was a winnable game, and that one sadly was not a winnable game. It's wild, man. This man, he has to find his confidence again. Yeah, I've seen some people say like he's got the yips, he's got the something. He's got something. There's something not up. I'm very interested to hear Vote's appraisal of Michael Porter Jr.'s night.
Well, in the chat, he was pretty sad, so I think he's going to be a little harsh on him. The last guy I want to talk about individually is Peyton Watson because I actually think, in theory, Peyton Watson represents one big piece of what Denver's missing. I keep talking about they need athleticism. Well, he brings that, but rebounding is a part of that tonight. He had 0 rebounds, and he had a couple go right to him that he just got out-rebounded for. One, like he was out on the perimeter. There's 4 Nuggets players standing around the basket. He crashed to be the 5th guy standing around the basket. The ball went over all their heads. Like, they need him. I know he missed camp. He's in a tight spot. But the Nuggets need him. They need him to be a better shooter than he's been. Right now, I don't have a ton of confidence in his shot. Michael Malone's son get to the foul line. He went 1 of 2 tonight. He got 1 free throw. But mistakes, defensively, taking on assignments, the Nuggets really, really need him to be a piece that contributes positively to the bench right now. And at the moment, offensively in particular, he's part of the problem. Like Westbrook, Peyton Watson, Dario Saric. Somebody in that trio has to, make this kind of work or kind of fit it in.
I feel like he has to get back to embracing what he is and who he is, and it's not offensively. And I think that he looked at the first game. I think Christian Braun was good, but also he's like, hey, there's a window for me to still start. I really think that that's in his head of if I could showcase that I could knock down shots, then I could be in the running for that, instead of hey, I'm such a good defender that I'm going to be able to affect the game on that end of the floor, and then it opens up my offense. Because I feel like he took some shots that was just beyond him, that he shouldn't have shot, and that's because he's.
Was he only over 3? Was he
only 3 shots, but it was the type of shots that he took. Just embrace it on defense. Just step up. Yeah. I want to guard that guy. I want to be the person that does. Because even when they did the offsets and when there was the stack, I feel like it should have been Peyton Watson that puts his stamp on the game on the defensive end of I'm going to try to make some steals, or I'm going to try to get a block and things like that. So
the Clippers had an 88 defensive rating when Peyton Watson was on the court. But the Nuggets had a 60 offensive rating. And that's at 11 and a half minutes. Almost 12 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. The bench looked good defensively. Yeah, dude, Peyton Watson, he's rusty to the point of the Tin Man when in the Wizard of Oz when he can't.
The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, like he can't move. He can't. He needs to. Dude, he looks so inept at right there, and we know that he's not. We know that he's like a guy that we have all pointed at as somebody that could really rise in this league. He's got the intangibles. He's got the body. He's got the length. He's got the intensity. He's got one of the best tarot cards pulled. He's the Knight of Pentacles or something, or the Knight of Cups. But truly, like he just looks very much like the semester started without him. He didn't get the syllabus.
That's what it feels like. He's behind on homework.
He's running around like everybody is like he didn't get the notes.
He has an excuse. There's no question he has an excuse. The problem is the Nuggets can't have excuses. You know what I mean? Like there's they could have won if this or that. It's like they need him actually to be better. Even that, and it's an unfair spot, but at the same time, it's the one he finds himself in. But he's a guy that I look at and go, right now, 12 minutes, and it feels right. But it can't feel right. He should be a 16, 17, 18 minute per game guy. The Nuggets need it.
He'll get there. He looks bad right now, though.
He did look a little rough here. And then that fast break layup was just one that was a really tough one. Like you got to finish those, get up, throw caution to the wind, try to put that one on somebody. And he kind of tried to do a little finesse move
that would have impacted the game. That was
they need it.
That was a momentum.
They needed it
because they were playing so hard defensively, that second unit, that would have changed things around where maybe you're just like, hey, the moment in the game that changes is when y'all got that steal, y'all got out in transition and you went and dunked on somebody's head, or you went and got fouled and made the end one. Like just those little parts of the game is the reason that they put you in it. That's the reason that you're on the bench unit, to try to like just insert some type of energy in this one. So that was like a meaningful play in the game, and he has to make the best of those opportunities because that gives you a few extra minutes in the game.
We got to hit a break because Vote's joining the show from Ball Arena here shortly in our final segment. We're also going to ask, are we encouraged, discouraged? Obviously, we're discouraged at 0-2, but did the Nuggets kind of get over themselves today? That's if there's a silver lining. I know it's lame to get to moral victories already, but did they get over whatever thing was plaguing them through the first 6 quarters of the season? We'll ask on the other side.
All right, guys. Z-Biotics. What is Z-Biotics? Well, it's pre-alcohol. What do you know about pre-alcohol? Well, I'll tell you what I know about pre-alcohol. I've used Z-Biotics with what I would say fantastic results. Z-Biotics is a little drink that you take before you make it your first drink of the evening, and then you drink, the way that you normally would. And if everything goes according to plan, you wake up the next day feeling much more refreshed than you would otherwise. Z-Biotics pre-alcohol prebiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered prebiotic. It was engineered by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. This byproduct, not the dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly and you'll feel your best tomorrow. I've legitimately used this product. I thought about maybe changing my life to just, drinking nightly because you can make it work. But because Z-Biotics actually, for me, gave me the result that I was looking for. So I kept hearing about pre-alcohol and wondered what it was actually like. Now that I've tried it, I believe the hype. And with their GMO technology, they will release different products to help address toxic byproducts of modern living in the gut. Go to zbiotics.com/DNVR Nuggets to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use DNVR Nuggets at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with 100% money back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they will refund your money, no questions asked.
Awesome. Also want to tell you about Westera Credit Union, founded right here in Colorado in 1934. Same as you.
Hey!
They also have 9 locations in the Denver metro area, and here's what they're all about. Helping members financially prosper. Education is their thing. They were actually started by a group of 8 school teachers, so helping others is in their DNA. And what it is their smart money checking account is awesome for those who want to make small balance, earn big returns, educate you on how to invest your money, help you out with all of your banking and investing needs. You can earn up to 6% annual percentage yield on your first $2,000 each month. That's up to $120 a year. Then your next chunk of cash will make you 3% APY and so on. In addition to the interest you earn, this account also comes with a rewards debit card, has no monthly or maintenance fees, and so much more. So if you like earning money by doing the things you're already doing with your checking account, visit westeracu.com/smartmoney. That's WESTERRACU.com/smartmoney for more details. Membership eligibility required, insured by NCUA. Restrictions and conditions apply. All right. As we wait for vote, he should be here probably in about 10 minutes or so. He's waiting for Jokic right now to get out of the shower.
Where? Where's he?
Well, he's not waiting like right outside the shower.
Okay,
I think
right.
he's in the press room. But
What do I know? I don't know.
Here's the big question, and I kind of want to go first on this one. Are we encouraged or discouraged? And I'll get this out of the way. I don't think you can be encouraged when the team is 0-2 and looked as bad as they did through 6 quarters. But I am encouraged that the Nuggets now see what they can be, and they've learned some things, figured some things out. So I would say I'm discouraged, but I do think that the Nuggets kind of had a revelation today. I think Michael Malone had a revelation with his rotation. I think the players had a revelation about how hard they need to play. But on them not playing hard, being winded is part of this. I honestly think the Nuggets are not quite in condition, and you know what? You probably will get in condition in short order. I think part of why Malone played his guys so much tonight is like, you're playing until you're in shape because we need you to be in shape. But I think another part of this is, you said earlier the team goes as Jokic goes. I disagree. I mean, Jokic plays great all the
I can't wait to hear this argument.
Well, Jokic plays great all the time, and sometimes they lose, like tonight. Jokic went great. Well, Jokic played great, but did they go the way of Jokic? No, they did not. They did not play. They did not end up winning. I think the team goes as Murray goes. Jokic is the constant. Murray is the variable, and not only in terms of quality of play, buy-in. I said I was low on the Nuggets coming into this year in large part because of Jamal and because I didn't believe that he was going to step up to the challenge that was needed of him, because what's needed of you when you're a max player and the team is all looking on you is sort of unreasonable. What's asked of Jokic is unreasonable. You have to be awesome all the time. Murray, to me, I think part of why the team looks like they don't care, they look all like this, is because I think they look around and see Jamal and are like, whenever you're ready, man.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what we do if you're not ready. And I think tonight he showed signs of, at least in part, he didn't get an A. I don't even give him a B. I'll probably give him a C tonight, but that's better than game 1. But I think tonight there was at least a little recognition of they need you to be the leader of this team in so many ways.
Am I responding to that, or am I going with
either way you want to go with it, Dev?
So I'll stick to it. It's going to be a bit of both. I'm not encouraged, but I'm less discouraged in that game.
Yep.
Just because I feel like the Jamal piece of it, we got to see him look alive, and that's something that we've been wanting for a long time and trying to get to. Even if you look at the negative parts of this game, it was like 1 or 2, like you're in the mood, like you don't know what you're gonna do. You don't know how to respond to that. Like, I make that extra pass. Who knows what would have happened? Jokic could have missed that. Like, it's just anything. But also, it just looked good to see him moving well. It looked good to see him trying to compete. I want there to be fire, and that's what I hope comes after taking 2 losses at home and now having to go on the road, because it is going to be back-to-backs against the wall. Because, I mean, we're on the show right now. Like, the national media is going to go back to, like, Denver is not good. They just lost to this battered Clippers team.
I was getting texts today from media members around the country. Yeah, they're trash. They're done. They're over.
So that's going to be like, so it's back to like you guys versus the world versus everybody, and that's where they've been, and that's where they feel comfortable. But it shouldn't take those type of losses to get there. So hopefully that does light a fire under Jamal, and if he's now starting to like move into the direction of starting to try to score, starting to try to get aggressive, and maybe now be a bit more of a vocal leader that also leads by example, that's something to be encouraged by. So the Jamal, I guess, embarrassing moments are just not being, at the top of the mountain anymore. I think that that's a good spot, because I think that he should respond, and like you have to have that narrative.
See, for me, the lights for the Denver Nuggets were completely off until maybe the end of the first half.
Yep.
When they hit those three-pointers in a row, and also
about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Also came up with stops in between, and it was all of the Nuggets sort of like coming online at the same time. Everybody was dormant up to that point. That Oklahoma City Thunder game was just abhorrent. There's nothing you could look at and feel positive about in any way. In fact, it sent me into a deep depression. I was spiraling after that game. I was like, this team doesn't care anymore. Like they're satisfied with their one title. They're satisfied with the money that they've made. They're satisfied with, living a comfortable life in Denver, Colorado, and just going out and playing games with their friends, but not really trying anymore. And the first part of this game where they found themselves down by 20 points again or 18 points again, where you're like, what are we doing? Like, this is not the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is not the prohibitive favorites to win the Western Conference. This is the very injured Los Angeles Clippers that only has James Harden going for them. And it turns out also Norman Powell. But it was that stretch where they all kind of came back online again. And like, I recognized the team. At least, like they weren't their best self, obviously, but they looked a little bit like the Denver Nuggets. They looked like a team that was worth cheering for, that at least cared about the outcome. And so I am encouraged. I am absolutely encouraged. They lost that game, whatever. They dug themselves such a deep hole, and it took them a lot of energy to come back from it. And then they faltered in the end. Norman Powell, I've never seen him shoot like that. James Harden played like James Harden does. He's going to grift and get to the foul line at the end of the game. But they made a couple mistakes at the end. But at least it looks like the Denver Nuggets showed up for some portion of the game. And you have to think that from that starting point, more can come. And so it's wild that we're at this point, 2 years removed from a championship, where we're having to figure out if the team still wants to play in the NBA. But this is where we're at. And today they show me that, like, maybe they do. They might.
See, I mean, I'm telling you, like, I had a comment but Nuggets fans were very upset in the offseason, especially towards the end of it. Like, any negative thing I would say about the Nuggets would, like, people would be up in arms, Reddit would be going crazy. The one that got him the most upset is I said something about Jamal Murray needing to grow, and somebody asked me, you have this. I said, I just don't know if he's going to, or something like that. I don't know if he's going to grow or whatever. And people got really upset about that one as if it was a personal attack or what have you. It's my read because I honestly think it's the core question. There's several questions with the Nuggets: depth, shooting, all this other stuff. But to me, the core one is Jamal Murray the guy that won a title? Is he that guy? And is he capable of being the guy that the team needs him to be? Does the team believe in him? Forget me, what I think about it. Does the team believe in him? And one of the reasons I said that in the moment that I said that is I know his approach, to leadership and what he feels his responsibility. Or I should say, I observe how he approaches those leadership things. And there was some stuff in post-signing of the contract, but pre-camp, where I was like, I just don't know. If he doesn't have it now, after signing a second one, I don't know if he'll get it. Now, the clock is, obviously, we're only 2 games in. There's a chance, and I'm rooting for it. I'm honestly rooting for it, because I think he's had a hard year, and I think a lot of the pressure is on him in a way that is really tough to deal with, honestly, as a pro athlete. But at the same time, I think all of this comes down to the team is uncertain of their own vibe right now, because they're uncertain if it's Jokic going to go score 41 points a night, and we're not good enough even with that, or if it's Jokic and Murray, and we get to the clutch time and we have these two guys that are worth rallying behind. And at the moment, I think the whole team is waiting on that answer.
Yeah, it's the uncertainty, and that's what they didn't lack in the last couple of years. You already knew what it was. You knew it was going to be the two-man game. You knew he was going to respond, especially in the playoffs when it mattered, because that's what we were accustomed to. That was all we knew, was Jamal responds when it matters. Jamal responds in big ways when it matters in the playoffs, until we didn't see it. And that's when front office, or like the identity of the team, is like, well, what do we do now? Because, I mean, we'd already discussed, that's why he becomes the heartbeat of the team. That's why he becomes the person on the team, because you already know the constant. You already know what you're getting out of Jokic every single time. Jamal is the live wire where you don't know at times. And then back to you, Adam, like, my question is, like, what do you have to see from Jamal, like, in the first half of the season? Like, is it him coming out and saying something about it? I
don't think it's anything to say.
Is it him responding on the court? Is it getting, taking it a bit more serious, like, while he's playing? Is it defensively? Is it all, like, how do you think he answers that, like, this year? Or can he?
That's a great question. When you're down 0-2 I felt like Yoke tonight was like, I got to do my best right now because we're in a spot that is so like tumultuous that I got to do whatever I can. And I just felt like Yoke did whatever he could today to try to drag them across the line. I think the team needs to see that from Jamal until he finds the consistency. Like, so I saw somebody in the chat say it's not his fault tonight. He was good. He had 22 points. He was good. Offensively, he was good. Norman Powell had more. Ivica Zubac had more. James Harden had more. Like, the thing is I'm tough on Jamal because I know he's not good. He's great. Like, he's great. 22 points is good. He was 7-14. He was good.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably the Nuggets' second best player. But, I mean, we want more out of him. We probably want, but we need more out of him for sure. I mean, if we're looking to assign blame, like especially on the starting unit, I would look at the other two guys.
I'm telling you what is with the Nuggets right now and why they have this weird vibe about do they believe? We keep asking, do they believe? They would if they knew Jamal was Jamal. That's my opinion, my educated opinion.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to speak for everybody on the team. Like, I just feel like they need to feel like they are world beaters again, and that needs to come from everybody in that starting unit. Like that, like Dev said, I mean, there was never uncertainty when it came to the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, you point to the two-man game is when things get tough. Like, everybody clear out, we got it. But Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and KCP, but now Christian Braun, who looks great. Like, you could rely, like that five-man grouping was going to build you up a lead at some level that was going to be, then it's up to the bench to hold it. But you didn't have to worry about the starters. And to start this game, like, you did have to worry about the starters. Last game, you did have to worry about all of the starters. Jamal came to life in this game, and he did, like, he showed some passion. He got some steals. He did this, that, and the other. And, I didn't see the other guys raise up from it. There's something just about, like, the whole team just needing to sort of take a step back and remember who they are. And it seems like maybe it's going to happen one guy at a time. We'll see.
Well, they go on a road trip right now.
Which could be a good thing.
Can be a great thing, honestly, being down 0-2. It could be a good thing. A lot of players have said this, that road trips, especially early in the year, is where you really bond. You've got at Toronto, at Brooklyn, and then you finish it off with at Minnesota. And that one's on ESPN. Those are winnable games. Brooklyn, winnable. Toronto, winnable.
Yes.
So, like, you have a chance here that sets the stage for what would be a great Minnesota matchup that is going to bring the juices out of the Nuggets. So, we'll see. Let's get to some Super Chats here while we wait for vote.
You want me to read them? Let's see if I can read them here. Guess who's it from?
Cedric.
It's from Cedric. Exquisite. Cedric, thanks, homie. Get Yoke a Norman or someone like Jose Alvarado. Tamir Tahir, thanks, homie. AG used to be such a force on defense, man, but now he looks a step behind versus everyone and contests shots by standing, which doesn't affect anyone. Shake my head. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a rough start for AG, I have to say.
I think he's ramping up a little bit as well.
I think
the
so, too.
contract thing, that's always as tough for a player, but
I think you're right.
I think he's ramping up.
Big Honey, $4.99. Thanks, homie. Yoke can't keep bailing out this team. It's not fair to him. Everything feels off, and the team needs to step up somehow, especially Jamal and MPJ.
I strongly agree on both counts. Here's one thing I will say, because everybody likes to, like, the people online love to tell you, Yoke, this or that or whatever. I will say, this year, I'm like, hey, man, he doesn't deserve this. Again, like, he deserves his teammates being like, what did AG say? He's an all-time great, and I just want to do my part.
Yeah,
and that's how I feel about Yoke. Like, got to do, everyone in the org's got to do their part right now, because Yoke gave everything tonight, man. He really did.
Molly Hunt, our absolute homie. $19.99. Molly, you shouldn't have. Consider this super chat a sacrifice to the basketball god, please. Here for the good and for the bad. Welcome to the bad, Molly. We're in hell. Thank you.
Welcome to the bad.
It's just Jordan 420.69. I never thought we'd be down so bad that we're considering Zeke minutes. Keep the heads up, fellas. Have some faith in the Jokic-led offense. I mean, we're not jumping off the ship, but, it's a little tumultuous. There's some choppy seas out there right now. Tamir Tahir back again. Love Malone's rotations tonight. Last piece is Zeke Vlatko over P-Watt. Russ is not getting DNPs until he's had at least 10 games played, so it's got to be P-Watt.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think we're calling for maybe Šarić to have a second look as well. Maddox says, first 0-2 start at home since the 2021 season. Dope.
Yeah. I mean, 0-2 is not ideal, but it's like, come on.
Whatever.
0-2. I thought this year would be tumultuous. I really did.
It is.
But I also think that you get a rhythm. I think it can be really exciting. Like, there can be really good peaks and valleys.
I definitely saw something awaken in the Nuggets tonight. I am encouraged. 5-ish. Zeke had his own watch along from the bench today, so still a minute 38 minutes down, only 5:53:22 till 5:55 minutes. We will figure this out. Don't worry, guys.
He's going to have to get into the game if we're going to get to that.
That's true.
If we're going to get to that.
It's tough.
So we need some blowouts.
CeeLo 290. There should be concern because bench is abysmal, but plenty of good takeaways today. Starters are better. Stay calm. It'll be a grind, but anyone who bails isn't a real fan. Deep breaths, adapt, and recover. You know what? Wind bailed. So you read that into what you will. ABC.
By the way, he totally was staying if they won tonight.
I know it.
He left the door open.
It's so lame. Does this say ABC Dino? It's time to start talking about coaching. When this many players are consistently underperforming for months, something is wrong with the team spirit. It's in the purview of the coach to whip them into shape on all levels.
I'm going to tell you right now, the fact that you're able to read that, I know it hurts.
We have it on the tiniest font ever.
It's like
you're reading the right side?
All the way from back here. It's like
I'm reading the left side. Maybe I should read the right side. I'll tell you, it's blurry as hell for me.
Hold on, though. On this Malone piece, I do think there is right to be concerned about, how much does he have the ear of the team right now? Because I think the team is like in this weird spot, and I don't think it's his fault, but I also don't know if the team, where that's at. All I know is it's kind of a moot point at the moment. And I don't think he did anything. Game one, he had a weird rotation. Tonight, he made most of the adjustments I thought he needed to make. So
He did. Let's see. Andrew Bowley says, $4.99. Scary thing is, even though all the starters are under 30 years old, they play like inexperienced teens, but with the bodies of decrepit 50-year-olds. So yeah, that's
I don't
right.
think Aaron Gordon or Jokic or even Murray necessarily plays immature. I think those guys play mature. Christian Braun,
just decrepit.
Christian Braun, I even think plays mature beyond his years. I don't think that group is not dumb. I mean, Michael Porter misses some assignments, but
you know what though? Everybody, listen, get it out of your system. Just get it out. Come on, put it all on us. We don't care.
We don't hate the Nuggets. We hate you guys.
It's our fault. I said something. I tweeted something wrong. I know it. CeeLo 290 again. Denver 2-0 with Durant. Yes, Mile High Flyer. Also, Rams W. D-line. Let's go. Yeah. Why you guys sad? We got the dub we were looking for.
Got the dub.
We're 5-3. We're going to go to a bowl, baby.
We're sitting here talking about Zeke Naji, this or that. Like, another option maybe would be interesting here. Durant. It's a bummer.
Of course. I mean, that's
the
why
Mile High Flyer.
That's literally why they drafted him. Peter Morton, keep MPJ playing with the bench. Mike needs to just get in rhythm, and it's less pressure than when he shares the floor with Joker and Jamal. Love the show.
Man, we love you, brother. We love you guys.
We love you. Although I would say it's actually more pressure when he's on the bench because he's the guy. And when he's playing with Jamal and Joker.
I've never seen Michael Porter afraid to shoot, though. I've seen him trying to win to shoot. Like, I'm not trying to be too aggressive. Today, he was like, I don't want the ball. It was very strange.
It wasn't very strange.
But he'll be all right. I'm a
DJ
believer.
Seahawk, totally different guy than earlier. No relation
It's
to
a
Cedric.
different name.
Different guy. Don't worry about it. Why can't we get Bruce back, Eric? We miss BB. Well, the season has started. He makes a lot of money.
If you watch the show the other day, though, I do think he would fit into the taxpayer MLE next year. I'm just saying.
Look, because I love that everyone wants Bruce Brown back.
Yeah.
How has he been playing this year?
Not great.
It's been one game, right?
I'm just saying we don't know.
That's so true.
It's not like he's destroying for his team.
You know what people are clamoring for? Vibes.
Yeah,
that's what
they're clamoring for. Vibes. They want the vibiest guys out there. Is Kyle Kuzma available? We'll find out.
So we have vote, but not video.
He's tried calling in 3 times, but no signals coming through. Just getting a little avatar.
A little avatar vote. I wonder if he's able to do. Is he able to do audio only? Could we put his face up?
He just call me on FaceTime and I'll hold it up to the camera.
you know what?
From the arena.
I'll just be vote. I think the players let Michael Porter Jr. down a lot today.
Yeah, no, there's no way. Come on.
And dare I say Michael Porter Jr. sneaky good?
He's no way.
You know, sometimes stats lie. Is that all the super chats? Were there any others?
We're just
okay. Only
You guys know who's having a great year so far?
vote.
Jay Huff. You guys been seeing this?
Yes.
Jay Huff has actually been. I'm not even being ironic.
I know.
I'm not even grading it on this scale.
I
I'm
know.
like, oh, he didn't trip over his own feet. He looks good.
He's getting what we like to call the Hartenstein bump. Leaving the Denver Nuggets put you in a stratosphere that you've never been in
He
before.
closed the game the other day.
I was just about to say, the thing is he's getting the opportunity. He's able to play because he's out there. I was shocked to see him out there at the end of the game. He's knocking down shots.
I mean, again, 2 games in, but still.
Well, today he's playing well right now. I keep seeing him on the highlight.
If you played in game 1, you're in the rotation. You're going to play for the
We're
year.
gonna try. I've got no video, but maybe we can just do audio.
All right. We got no video, but we have audio of Brendan Vogt.
Everyone imagine this is vote. It's not that hard to stretch.
Vogt, can you hear me?
You guys. Can you hear me?
Hey!
My
Vogt.
God. My God.
All right, take us inside the locker room, man.
Fine. Malone was a decent mood, actually a surprisingly decent mood. His big takeaway was that there are flashes of them doing the things they need to do. They just need to do it more consistently. We have to play harder for longer. We need to play more discipline for longer, too. We'll get back to that. He hit on that note again. On MPJ, he was asked about Porter, who was just not good tonight, guys. On Porter's shooting, he said, stay with him. We know the shooter he is. We don't want him turning down those open looks. Mike is the kind of guy that could be 0 for 6. Teams are still going to guard him. But his big takeaway was that they don't want him turning those looks down, even when he is shooting poorly. He said, Jokic shot it well. Julian hit 2. Jamal, once Mike gets going, that should help. He was asked if these are things that are going to concern and plague the Nuggets all season, if these are things that can be cleaned up in the meantime. And Malone said, quote, these are all things that we can clean up. He mentioned integrating new guys into the lineup. He talked about how Peyton Watson missed all of training camp, not just the preseason games, but all of camp. And he said, but yeah, I mean, obviously this is not the start we wanted, but it's our reality. Now it's time for us to go on the road, try to find our rhythm, and try to get this shitty taste out of our mouths. He was then asked if Christian Braun is a silver lining or a bright spot. He did wax poetic about it for a bit, but settled on, for who we are and where we are at, there are no silver linings or moral victories. We've got to get a win. Our goal now is to put 48 minutes of good effort to get there. And then he said, we will get there. I promise you that. We will get there. Then we spoke with Jamal Murray, who really gave one long answer in particular. I asked him if he's worried about the shooting. They did shoot 40% tonight, mostly Jamal and Jokic. And the way I framed it was, there's a lot of doubt from folks like me in the media, about the shooting. Are you worried about it? And he thought about it for a second and he said, I'm not too worried. I just have so much confidence in the guys. I obviously have a fuller perspective on this team than people on the outside. We won a title with most of the same guys on the roster. He said, and the effort was there tonight. Normal Powell just took over. I think we're gradually getting better, but it's just not translating yet into wins. But we're making strides. And then he said, I think the guys that have been here long enough, that have been writing here long enough, that have been around long enough, should know what this team is capable of. There shouldn't be too much doubt or worry in us. Guys are playing hard, and we'll keep figuring things out. I just want to stress that was not a combative quote. He was asked directly about media doubt, so that was just his perspective on it. But Murray landed on confidence in his guys and just believing that at the end of the day, the Nuggets are still the team we thought they were, not the team we currently think they are. And then finally, a couple more from Jamal. He said a lot of it is just chemistry. Today there was a point where I was running on the break, and I wasn't sure if I was a 2 or a 3. So just little things like that. He was asked directly about Abu Dhabi screwing with their preseason. He had kind of 2-track thoughts about it. He said, man, it was amazing. Shout out to the NBA. Abu Dhabi was amazing, but we were exhausted. I was coming back from Australia, so I was extra tired. Then he caught himself and he said, But I don't even look at it like that. Like, that stuff's in the past, and now it's about getting better. But he just says it's about energy and effort. And they'll get there. They believe they're chipping away. So.
Okay. Is that all?
That's all, fellas.
You got any thoughts for us on this one? I thought they were going to win, man. I really did.
I did too. It was nice to see 20 minutes where they were just hooping. It was almost as if they remembered, oh yeah, we're good at this.
Yeah.
And the crowd got back into it. And it really stinks that they didn't get the result they wanted. The bench hasn't been good enough. That's old news. Porter just has to be better. You know, he just wasn't good enough today. I thought he battled, but they shot 40% from three. He's the guy that's supposed to hit him. He was 0 for 6. So, you know, things are coming together, I think, a little bit. The starters will probably get their guys. But then I think we'll just end up with a similar question to the seasons past. Is this bench going to be any different? What can Malone and company do to make it so?
Yeah. All righty, well, good stuff at the arena tonight, Vote. Go talk to Joker. I'm sure he's not even out yet.
The Celtics are losing to the Pistons.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. I'm going to go bet on the Celtics money line with everything I have. See you guys later.
Later. All right, we got a couple more those. We always appreciate you guys super chatting us, even on a Loser's Lounge, especially in a Loser's
I
Lounge.
know.
Especially.
You know what? It's like paying dues into the Ultimate Homies Club.
That's true.
Navin, I'm sure, I apologize for that. Got off on a wrong foot here. After 20 games, if MPJ is still terrible, should we trade him? Well, that's called selling low. Can we trade him? For whom? Would Yoke approve of something like that, even if the front office wanted to? I mean, again, like you don't trade a guy when he's at his worst. And again, well, we'll see. I don't know. Yeah,
We're just so early on that, man. We're just too early to be talking trades.
Ulysses Ventura. Strawther needs to shoot more than Westbrook.
Strawther needs to shoot more.
I know he does.
It doesn't even matter who is more than. He's out there. He needs to put himself in situations to get shots because it feels like they're going through Westbrook. They're going through Saric. He has to be a bit more assertive.
I think he's got to figure out the defensive side right now because I think his head is like fully focused on that because he keeps fouling jump shooters. I think he's got like 4 or 5 fouls on jump shooters in his first 2 games, and I think he's like probably more honed in there. He'll settle in though.
Rational Calvin Booth. If drafted today, would you rather be on the Nuggets bench or frontline infantry? Let's see. Where are we going? Like, what country? You know what I mean?
Don't answer that. All right, everybody hit the like button for us. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. We went too long. You got to know when it's time to wrap up a show. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with the Loser Lounge. Take Sunday off of the Nuggets, but come back on Monday. Why? They go on this road trip, and we're going to be here with you. Hit that like button on the way out.
And Bo Leaf, the Broncos are back, baby.
Bo Leaf.
We all silly like the mayor.